Well, hello and welcome. In this video I am going to show you how it's so easy to get your art journal out, especially when you need just to take some time out for you and play and just allow things to go through your mind, but to get it down on paper. So this is it's a sugar paper art journal. It's one of those art journals that I was going to say in the olden days, we used to use it to kind of like a scrapbook. So it used to be that kind of paper. So it's an A1 size, so it's quite large. And I'm using a charcoal pencil to create the initial image. Now, on the art journal pages in this book, or in all of my art journals, what I do initially is to lay down colour, and just as you're going along, you know, if you've got extra paint on your paintbrush, to lay it on the paper, because then you can come back and then work on it. So on this paper, you saw that as I flipped through, there was many different many different pages that had already had something on them as the first layer. And on this page, it had the purple paint that I'd probably used in something else. So what I wanted to do on this page was to not even do a complete drawing or painting, but just to kind of do the startings of painting. And one of the things that I've tried to do for myself, or practice with myself, is that I don't have to finish a piece, because that used to be a real sticking point for me, that, well, if I didn't have enough time to finish, I wouldn't start. And so this is really a good practice to be able to start pieces and get things down, lay down backgrounds. If that's all you've got time for, you've got a short amount of time, you want to do something creative. But this also works if you've got, like I will be working on the other side, which had been a painting that was started, and I need to wait for the page to dry. So as you're waiting for pages to dry, it's also a good idea to be able to, you know, start on something else, especially if you've got the paint that you're using anyway, and you've still got a bit of time to do your creativity and whatever the action, or whatever the creative act that you're doing. So it's a good idea to be able to work on two pieces at the same time. So on this page, I laid down, as you saw, I laid down the initial lines of a lady kind of leaning forward, and I'm now laying down some gesso, and it's a very liquid gesso. It's the ones that I prefer to use are thicker, but this one is fairly thin, so you get just a thin layer. And I just really wanted to keep some of the colours underneath, and then I needed to let it dry. So I move on to the next page, and because I'm coming back from having done this page at a previous time, I'm laying down gesso because I just fancied to change areas of the face. And if you look at the hair, you can see where I've changed it several times. I've changed it a couple of times, and I probably will end up changing this one as well. And so again, it's really just taking time to play, not trying to finish anything, but looking at all the different things that, you know, you can incorporate. So I'm just wetting this now with some, I sprayed it with a sprayer, and I use gesso for everything. So where I don't want elements that I'd put down already, I'd laid some stamping on the background, I'm taking that away. I'm changing some of the colour in her face, in the neck, and you can. It's about how you feel, and what you then end up with, or what you're working through, is whatever you're going through, whatever you're thinking, wherever you're allowing the art to take you. And it's a really great way to, spend some time being creative. So again, you can make changes, you can add, you can take away. Gesso is your friend. It's something that I always love having in my studio. I do use acrylics, and on this page I'm using the Realityarts craft paint range, and the colours are quite vibrant, and you get good coverage. But you also, with the gesso, you can, as I say, extract things, take things away, and make things to how you're particularly feeling at that time. So this lady is by the river, looking away or walking away from the river, and maybe she's thinking something. Maybe she's thinking something that I'm going through at the particular time that I've been working on it. And so again, it's just a nice way just to spend a short time on your creativity. So I hope that you also find the time to be able to spend in your journal, and don't think of it that you're going to have to finish pages, or you can't move until you finish the thing. Use it and utilize it so that you can spend the time being in that creative space. You could do it outside, you could do it at the beach, you could do it in the park. Take a few supplies with you. Don't allow yourself to be restricted. So here I'm starting to add some colour to the page, and as I said, I've got to finish this. It's one page is drying, this page I'm now working on. If I don't finish, or if I feel like doing something else, I will. And having pages that are in between stages is good for your own creative process. So you're never kind of staring at this blank page thinking, what shall I draw? Or paint. You can always start something, or play about with something, or just mess about with colour. So you've got to allow yourself the freedom to do that. So I'm going to leave it there, but I'll allow you to see some of the other things that I'm doing on the page, and stenciling, adding additional colours, and then just playing. So I hope you get the opportunity to spend some time being creative and spend some time in your art journal. So remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and come back, because I'll be showing you a variety of different pages where I just play about with the colour and the paints, and just spend time in my art journal. And remember, you don't have to have just one art journal. You can have as many as you want and bounce from one to the other. So I will be leaving details of the supplies that I've used in the description. And yeah, have a blessed day. Take care for now.